Hello traders, hello everyone. Welcome in the advanced room here at Live Education with XM. My name is Marcin Nowogorsky. I'm here with Dariusz Dargo to talk about markets. By the way, hello YouTube. We are also co-streaming to the YouTube for a moment, so welcome everyone watching us. And we go straight to the markets topic because we have some hot news, some things going on. Yesterday, US and UK had holidays as well, so they are UK is back after long weekend. US will be back after long weekend today later today. So we are seeing some interesting stuff happening and going to debate that. Of course, looking forward to your questions. Hello, Darek. How are you doing? How is it? How is it going? What do you see on the market? You've mentioned something about Japan.
Yeah. Hello, Marcin. Hello, viewers. Hello, YouTube. I think that after yesterday's holidays, which generally stopped the market for 24 hours, the market was not doing much. We had a stronger move on Euro USD in the early morning before the London opening. But I think the most important information came a few hours ago that Bank of Japan, the Ministry of Finance, will hold an emergency meeting at 8, 9, 10, 9:30. Yeah, it will be held in half an hour from now uh, in Japan. Those are three key financial bodies in Japan. And the question is why it's called emergency meeting, because it's between two Bank of Japan monetary policy meetings. I think that the market is expecting that something will change. Maybe they'll change the yield curve control. Maybe they'll raise the yields to 50, from 50 to maybe more. 0.50 was the 50 basic points was the maximum yield for bond yields, Japanese government bond yields. Now maybe they will raise it to one, or maybe they will change the interest rate because we know that for last 7 or even more, 8 years in Japan, the interest rates are negative, 0.1. It's the only country in the world which has negative interest rates at the moment. So I think that something's gonna happen, and market got frightened probably, and yen has gained about 60 pips in a second after this information was on the wires. So I think that today Japanese yen will be very, very interesting, and the world will focus probably on yen and yen pairs, that expecting some changes in the monetary policy of Bank of Japan. And as you mentioned before our session, that it could be interesting pair euro with yen because euro is very weak. Euro is losing a lot. Euro was dipped today to below 106.75, making it's very heavy at the moment, euro USD. So maybe euro Japanese yen could be a very interesting pair. But generally, Japanese pairs today could be very volatile because of that meeting.
But do you have any bias? Like, do you think yen will get stronger, big or could get much stronger because of this emergency meeting, or is it rather bad for yen? I mean, we've seen last 3 weeks were not really great for the Japanese currency, and it was getting weaker against dollar, but also against pound, which we know the pound was strong this year, but overall it doesn't look great. Um, Recently, let's say recent months. So what do you expect? I'm looking at comments. I'm seeing comments from Ueda um, at three today 3:30 a.m., which was like middle of Asian session, and he was like he wasn't really hawkish in those comments. He was saying that they haven't achieved the inflation target, and also what he said is that he expects inflation to fall sharply towards the middle of the year, right? So actually next few months, I don't know, like like next 2 or 3 months, we may be seeing CPI dropping sharply. At least this is how I understand his words. Um, it,
Yeah,
it,
but
it he doesn't sound, just one more point. He doesn't sound concerned, so maybe it won't be a good change for the yen. Also, a month ago, he was like, "Okay, we do the policy review," or maybe it was 3 weeks ago, something like that. We are conducting 1.5 years policy review, and we may change something, we may change nothing, and wait for the policy review to be finished. Like he opened all the doors, but at this so they have all the possibilities, and you can't say they haven't communicated that. Actually, they communicated too much to the market, that they could do whatever they want. But at the same time, um again, they had to find something urgent to make this emergency meeting. I mean this I'm thinking that this might be something that requires the reaction right now. Okay, and I'm wondering what that could be. Would that be some banking sector problem, or what?
the inflation in Japan reached a level never seen before for many years. It's over 4%, and the
Yes,
interest
and
rates.
what he said, we have not achieved sustainable 2% inflation, because they were emphasizing that they need 2% stable over medium term, and that's not it, because they expect this inflation that we are seeing. Yeah, you are right, highest for probably 30 years in Japan. Um, he says it will drop sharply, so it's like extinguishing. But I remember Swiss National Bank, when they removed the Swiss currency peg. It was 2015, January 2015. They had this meeting. It was Thursday. They removed the peg, totally sizing the whole market. On Monday, 3 days before, the chief of Swiss National Bank was saying, "No, no, everything is fine. We will keep the threshold. The peg will stay as it is." And 3 days later, they removed it, basically, like pulling the rug from beneath the market. And we've seen quite a disastrous flash crash. um could that be the
That
case
was
now,
Black Thursday.
where
Black Thursday.
whether ensuring markets everything will be fine, and out of a sudden, few hours later, they gonna do something drastic? I'm very puzzled with that.
What is typical for Bank of Japan, they very often change the interest rates, change the monetary policy between the meetings, not during the meetings. And this could be one of those events. Uh, I believe that what can they do? They could make a change in the interest rates. It's a very good opportunity to change the interest rates to at least null, because now it's minus 0.1. It's the only country in the world which is not paying interest rates. And I think that it's a good opportunity, this high inflation, much higher than expected, much higher than planned, could be an opportunity to normalize, at least, not, normalize means going higher than zero. But even if they make zero, it's also not. Could be an interesting step. And then I believe that yen can fall few hundred pips. I mean dollar with yen. That's why I opened a short on it, expecting a drop down.
Short
But
on
of
dollar
course,
yen?
if short on dollar yen, yeah, I opened a short. And now, just expecting that this will be continued, those declines which started a few hours ago, or let's say a few dozen minutes ago. And it's always a chance that it can go down 100 pips, but it won't, a few hundred pips. But if it goes up, I don't believe it will go more than 50, 60. So there's a big chance for this trade. Of course, the problem is if they don't change anything, it will be very disappointing, and dollar yen will spike up. So it can work both sides.
Well, usually market has both sides. Recently, we've been seeing mostly one side, as I mentioned, last 3 weeks. on dollar yen. But there is also one more currency pair that is quite interesting right now. It's euro yen. So if somebody
Hmm.
thinks yen gonna get stronger, that is an interesting opportunity, because euro is weak today morning, right? And we got weak CPI data. Actually, CPI data is showing that CPI in Europe is going down pretty visibly, and therefore that removes the pressure from ECB to raise interest rates, and even probably makes it closer to pivoting towards easier monetary policy. Maybe it's also indicating recession that is coming to Europe earlier than to US, because everybody was talking about US going into recession. Not much has been said about the Europe potentially heading towards recession. And if you think of German data from last 2 months, especially industrial data, manufacturing, and industrial orders, you will see that there is really some problem underlying, and so I'm thinking about the euro as we've seen it fairly weak versus dollar for quite some time, but that may be the underdog of the remainder of this year, I guess. No.
I see there's a question on the YouTube. Uh, it's Hi guys, I have a different 200 simple moving average on my XM platform comparing with other platforms. Is it normal? Shift on my moving average is on default. The difference is up to 50 pips sometimes. Well, I think that it shouldn't be so because a moving average is a moving average. So I don't know how can this happen. Uh, could you show 200 moving average, the simple moving average, Martin,
Yes,
on your
of course. So
chart?
the simple moving average is the dark blue here. This is weekly, this is daily, and the thing is that there is also exponential moving average. So there are different types of moving averages, and they can differ one from another. Like
Yeah,
50
but
pips, it
it's
shouldn't
too
be 50
much.
pips. 50 pips is quite a lot, but it also depends on the time frame, right? If it's 50 pips on weekly, maybe, or it depends on whether you plot it on open, close, median, high, low. Because sometimes, depends on which platform you are using. But if you are using two different trading terminals, like for example, MetaTrader 5 and TradingView, there could be differences. So yeah, but make sure it's totally the same moving average. Like you are comparing simple to simple, not simple to exponential or weighted or displaced moving average, because there are a few types, and sometimes, again, especially in some external platforms, it might be a little bit chaotic or confusing at first because they provide so many different types of indicators, and if you have moving average, usually there are like many types of moving average. So first of all, make sure that the moving average is the same. Second of all, you can have slight differences in prices because forex market is not centralized. So different data sources can have some differences. I'm not sure if that should, compound into 50 pips. That's quite a
No, it's too
lot.
much.
But
It's
if
too
it's
much.
weekly, maybe it could, uh, but on lower time frames, it shouldn't be like that. So, but there is
May
too little info, I guess, for us to tell
I
exactly.
think I think that especially the 200 moving average. The question is if you are using a smoothed one or a simple one, because the simple one is just it cannot change because the values are the same, which are maybe is the question if you have on the closing or on the opening of the candle. But even then, it shouldn't be such a big difference. I don't know
Well, you have
what can
number
be.
of settings here, like which value should be averaged, right? For example, if you have different time zones, you will have close in way different places. So if you apply to close, but you have and you look at daily, for example, right? Some brokers, depends on where the server is located, what's the time zone of the server. Some brokers will have daily closes at different hour.